Last lesson we learned about how reactions happen and the heat energy involved with the reaction. That's what we did. Okay, we learned exothermic reactions, endothermic reactions. So reactions that release energy, reactions that take in energy, the theoretical aspect of that. And we learned two different theoretical explanations on why reactions are exothermic and endothermic. Bit of practical stuff. That's what we learned. So energetics explain the lightness of reaction happens. Whether that reaction is happening ready. So for example, thermal decomposition of calcium carbonate. It doesn't happen at room temperature at all. It's an endothermic reaction. A lot of energy must be given to even start and happen. Is that clear? Right? But whereas some exothermic reactions, like sodium putting in water, a lot of energy is given out, right? Happen immediately, soon after you mixing things. You mix sodium with water, reaction happens and it happens. Right? So it's a lightness of reaction happening, first, like evaluated by energetics. Today, we are going to talk about it's not how lightness the reaction happens, how fast the reaction happens. Right? You still don't understand the difference between them. Let me take an example. Right? So let me take this as an example. Right? Now, a moment. When I get a glance.
Hyperactive takes Minu which is birthday.
Right? Now let's say vessel has the ability. So let's say I can evaluate him and see he has the ability to get an A for chemistry. He has the power, right? Energy, intelligence, memory power, everything to get A for chemistry in the Cambridge Oxford exam. Right? Vinu also has, like more or less, the same energy and the ability, intelligence, and memory power to get right A or A star in the exam. So that is they have the capacity or the ability to take. Right? It is like energetics, the potential, whether it can happen or not. But how the study executed, right? How fast they study and how fast they finish studying, how fast they cover the lessons, how fast they correct their mistakes, how fast they do past papers, how often they do it, and finish the work will decide whether they really achieve it before 2023 or level. Right? Let's say Nessan is always missing sessions to study the notes, right? And forget to do past papers. So the workload is not efficiently covered. Efficiently covered. Right? But in contrast, Vinu is finishing that work fast. Let's say per week he does, let's say 2 past papers. You do for the whole month, one past paper. Right? Per week, 2 past papers means per month it's going to be 8 past papers. And for him, per month only 1 past. So how fast he works will decide whether he can go to that target even though his capacity is high. Right? So then remember, this is a good example came to my mind. Right? Don't ever overestimate yourself because of your intelligence or memory power and doing things fast in the class when the lesson is going and imagining, what a good one. It's not whether you can do it. It is about how often you do your work towards the goal. So the reactions, right? There are reactions which can happen or not. Meanwhile, you can explain there are reactions which happen. Some reactions happen fast. Some reactions happen slow. There is nothing to deal with enthalpy change
to talk about those rate of reactions. Is that clear? The rate of reaction is completely different lesson from the energetics. Energetics is the having the ability to react, not how fast it reacts. Like whether he's going to get an A or A star doesn't really depend on his ability. It depends on how fast he is going to finish the work and be ready before the exam. If he is late, so he's slow in process. So by 2023 exam, he can't take A star. Is that clear? Right? Likewise, the energetics and rates are different. Today we are talking about rate of reaction, rates of reaction. We call it kinetics, right? Earlier we learned energetics. Today we are going to learn kinetics. Got it? Right. So in kinetics, now let me take 4 different examples here. This is weathering of rocks, chemical weathering of rocks. What's chemical weathering of rocks? They are slowly decaying due to many reasons. Maybe the atmospheric pollutants, right? Heavy raining, like acid rains, and very strong bright sun and high temperature, right? Slowly the reactions happen and these rocks are weathering. So it's a very slow reaction. So they are very slow in going towards their A and A star. Right? Okay. Next one, rusting. What about rusting? It's a slow. What එක තියෙනවා දැන් ඔයා අද මේ iron nail එකක් water වලට දාලා හෙට බලනකොට rust වෙන්නේ. So either the rusting is not happening. But if you look at it like 2 or 3 days, you will figure out suddenly, those iron nails have been rusted. Is that clear? So it's a slow reaction. And what about metals reacting with acids? What kind of a speed is there? Right? High speed, rigorous reactions, right? Fast reactions. But again, the rate depends because of the reactivity series. Can you remember? Right? Okay. And here we have explosion. Explosions are very fast reactions. Extremely fast reaction. Those reactions, since they are really fast, a lot of energy will be produced in a very short period of time, right? And a lot of air will be produced in a very short period of time. So big pressure, big amount of heat release, you call it what? Explosion. Is that clear? Then ඕගොල්ලෝ හිතන්න බලන්න මේ categories 4ට දාන්න පුළුවන් reactions. Very slow reaction, fast reaction, very fast reaction. පුළුවන් ද reactions 4ක් හිතන්න. Even the day-to-day life process, I mean, not like, it should be chemically related ones, huh? Yes, Mehta?
For the mix, the rusting
category.
Can we do photosynthesis reaction?
Photosynthesis reaction. You mean the process, whole process? Yeah, no? Photosynthesis, not bad, right? It should be kind of, it can't be very fast, right? Photosynthesis. When the light එක එනකොට මෙහෙම ගෙඩි ලොකු වෙනවා. එහෙම වෙන්නේ නැහැ නේද? Okay, that's a slow reaction. Fine. Yes, Viru?
The decomposition of limestone for the first one.
Very slow. I mean, naturally. Natural decomposition. Or anything chemical weathering. Sodium plus water is for third one. Yes, very fast reaction. ඒකෙම වාට පුළුවන් තව එක ස්ටෙප් එකක් ඉස්සරහට දාලා මෙතනට යන්න. මොකද්ද? Potassium plus water, medium or francium plus water, because down the group metals become more reactive. Food digestion අන්න දැන් දවල්ට කාලා ඉතින් සමහරයගේ ඇයි බෝඩ් එක පොඩි වෙනවා වගේ පේන්නේ. ඔයගලන්ට මේ බෝඩ් එක පොඩි වෙනවා වගේ පේනවා. ඇයි? බෝඩ් එක පොඩි වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඇස් දෙක පොඩි වෙනවා.
ලේන අඩුවේ උඩට වැඩි යන්නේ බඩ.
ඒක තමයි. ඇයි මේ බඩට යන්නේ?
එහෙනම් මොකද
ඒක තමයි යන්නේ food digestion. Right? The digestion is a fast or a slow or a very slow reaction.
Very slow.
Look.
Slow.
Not very
Fast.
slow. Just slow. Take 7 hours.
දවස් දෙක තුනක් වගේ යනවාද?
7 hours.
මට කෑමට නම් හිතෙන්නේ digesting is a very fast reaction කියලා. තමයි කන විදියට නම්. හරිද?
Then mental physics.
මේ
The 7 hours, 8 hours.
right මෙහෙම කියන්නත් බෑ. මෙට්‍රියල්ස් අම්මෝ අයියේ මේව දාපු ගමන් ඉවරයි. Okay, so it's something between rusting and fast reaction, right? Like moderate, I mean, slow, but not very fast
It
reaction.
depends on the person.
It depends on the person. Yeah, it's anyway, human digestive system is almost common to everyone, right? That, මට නම් එහෙම නැද්ද? No, it depends on the metabolism rate of some people. Some people metabolism rate is very high, right? Hari. Respiration. What about respiration?
It's sort of moderate.
Fast.
Fast. That's
Sir, for the second category, can you put fermentation?
sorry.
For the second category, can you put fermentation?
Fermentation. Yeah, fermentation is like a slow, right? Hari. Right, and so I got very good answers from you. Let me show you some really fast reaction, right? Respiration is very fast and bad.
Sir, not
You can't tell that because you don't know mitochondrial activity. ඔබ දන්නේ නැහැ ඒක activity එක fully දන්නේ නැහැ. මම කියනවා very fast, not just a reaction, it's a process of reaction. Right? When I'm talking, don't discuss. So you can see what you can see here. My hand. My hand. Right? You see my hand, right? How do you see my hand? No. I'm not asking how do you perceive?
From my life.
I mean, the scientific way of you are saying, okay? How do you get your eyesight? Okay, there is a light source here, and then it will be reflected and it's going through the stars. Retina through pupil through goes through pupil and strikes on the retina, and then retina is going to quickly generate a small electric pulse. Make an electric pulse. Have you ever felt that there is an electric pulse happening? මොකක් හරි ඕන වැඩක් කරලා PC වල දැක්කම ඉන්නේ දෙකක් ගාලා electric pulse එකක් වගේ. දැන් කන්න තමයි යන්නේ වැඩේ කියලා. ආයි බය. Right. Listen, so that electric pulse is then sent to the brain through optic nerve. And in brain will understand me other sir in no peace doing right? Okay, only brain see this, not your eye. Your eye doesn't see anything. Some philosophical thing. Then the problem is you are not having the detectors to see.
Yes.
Right?
So the eyes are detectors.
Yes.
Yeah.
දැන් මේ අත මෙහෙම තියෙනවනේ. දැන් මම අත මෙහෙම හොල්ලනවා. හරි. දැන් මේ හොල්ලන එකට පේනවනේ මෙහෙම. මේක මූවි එකකදී මෙහෙම මේක පෙන්නුවොත් ඔයගොල්ලෝ දන්නවා මේක පෙන්වන විදිය. ඔව්. frame per second. Right? මෙතන frame එක මෙහෙම frame එක මෙහෙම frame එක මෙහෙම frame එක මෙහෙම frame එක ඒ ටික ඔක්කොම super fast run කරනවා. Right? එහෙම තමයි අපිට මූවි එකක පෙන්නේ.
As in a heart.
Right? හැබැයි වගේ S දෙකෙන් මේක බලනකොට ඔයාට මේව lag වෙවි පේනවා. Then ඔයාගේ S දෙක you don't understand how powerful and miracle the biochemical processes. ඔයා මේක කැමරා එකකින් බැලුවා නම් කැමරා එකේ performance මත තමයි decide වෙන්නේ playback එකේ quality එක. Right? ඒක සමහර දැන් අපි තුමු web එක slow නම් ඔයාට පේන්නේ මේක මෙහෙම සමානතාවට. නමුත් ඔයගේ apps එකම මේම කරන්නේ නැහැ. දැන් මෙතන ඉඳන් මෙතනට යනකොට light එක ඇවිල්ලා එහෙ වදින්න ඕනේ. මෙතනට යනකොට light එක ඇවිල්ලා එහෙ වදින්න ඕනේ. මෙතනට යනකොට light එක ඇවිල්ලා එහෙ වදින්න ඕනේ. ඊට පස්සේ තමයි මේක පේන්නේ. The power of eye. No lagging that you see unless I do like this. Then, huh? Now then think about how fast those reactions happen in the eye and sending the information to brain and brain perceiving the motion. They are like little process in a chain reaction and it happens in like no time. Right? Yes, sir. You don't feel it, right? So your eye, like even ears, even your nose, but especially eye, right, has that kind of unimaginable power of perceiving the world actually, not perceiving the world, by creating the images in retina, such parts, right? Amitande? ඔකට අද තමයි ඒක තේරුනේ කතාව. එහෙම දෙයක් තමයි මේ අපිට පේන්නේ. So you can value your eyesight. Right? Yes.
Water, aluminium and horizontal.
Then you will hydrogen gas. I know, that's a fast rate. I get gas against nowadays. And what people, yeah, then yes.
That's a reaction for growth like cell division.
Yes, it's not just one reaction. Huh?
Then that is very slow.
It's very slow. True. It's a process rather than just one reaction. Right? And let me tell you, very slow reaction. But actually, it depends. Aging.
That's
Cell growth, you said growth.
growth.
Growth and aging are different.
Sir, you age when you grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, sir.
No, at one point your growth stops.
But just
So then after that you go age. So you don't say growth.
But just now age to age, you grow age.
Yeah. Now when we use the word growth, right? It's too specific. Right? So you undergo aging from the time that you were born until you die. But the growth happens only to certain age. After that, you don't grow.
Sorry, just.
The hormone changes, so it's like.
Growth is something else. Right? Okay. Right. You mean speed?
I said hormone.
One. Okay, you are very curious on that. By the way, aging is also, for some people, it's too fast. For some people, it's too slow. For example, you people feel it's too slow.
No, it's
Like
fast.
some people.
Okay.
So the.
It's fast.
Too fast. Okay, it depends on your likeness. ඔගොල්ලෝ කැමති නම් තාම ඉස්කෝලේ යන මේ වගේම එක්සෑම් කර කර ඉන්න නම් you feel like oh this is going too fast, right? Okay. But if you feel අයියෝ මේක නංගාල ඉක්මනට යනවා නම් ඉවර වෙලා යුනිවර්සිටි යන්න තියෙනවා නම් එහෙම හිතනවා නම් you feel this is going too slow. Now for us we feel like this is too fast now, right? We would love to say this is going to go slow, but it will happen.
So, sir, you want to do your exams again?
I'm doing exams anyway.
Like this?
Anyway, I'm doing exams.
The exams you did before.
No. I'll be doing exams until I die. So then that is something different from this, right? We call it lifelong learning, right? So then studying about how fast reaction happen is called what? Rate of reaction. We'll see what is meant by rate. Next, you have in the tutorial what is rate. What is rate? Okay, I want you guys to ask questions when I give you some time. Okay, because I won't finish the lesson as I planned to. Right. What is rate? Any idea about rate? Rate? Yes.
Progress of something.
Progress of something.
In the case of a reaction, it will be a progress of reaction, progress of growth.
Okay, progress of growth. Progress කියන එක මෙහෙමනේ. example දැන් මම ගන්නවා කිව්ව විදිහට progress එක අපි තමු live progress එක ගන්නකොට we'll take tortoise feedback උදම් right අපි ගමු අර Galapagos වල island වල එක්කෙනෙක් උදම් Charles Darwin දීපු හරිද
You know.
I go away right? They live around 200 years, more than that.
Yeah.
Yes,
300.
right? මේ අන්තිමට මිනිහ කෙනා lonesome George කියලා කවුද කියලා ඉන්නේ. නෑ යාගේ නම යාගේ pet name. Right? Yeah, he died like recently. He died, not recently, like 2 years or 1 years back. Right? Right, listen. Take a flight. Right? එයා week එකක් වගේ. දැන් ඔයා කොහොමද progress එක කියන්නේ? Right? අර tortoise අවුරුදු 200ක් හිටියා 200 හිටියා. It gets born and grow, eat, grow, sleep, grow, and then become an adult, reproduce, produce offsprings, and in all the mating seasons, right, and produce several generations, and go old and die. It takes 240. But what about the fly? One born, quickly grow, quickly become an adult, and then reproduce several times, go on, die. So then both are right? Both are doing the same progress. When you say the word progress, then it doesn't mean that
This excess speed, I'm going to explain that the word rate is going to come in. You're going to ask what this rate means after that. So speed.
speed, okay, speed doesn't, okay, that's another word for it. Doesn't explain it, yes.
The speed and time taken something to happen.
Speed and time taken. What do you mean by speed taken?
How
How fast, all right. Tama madi, tama. ඔයගලගේ explanation word. Do you have it here?
So the amount of things that the specific time.
Very good. That's the answer. Then, right? අපි හිතමු නෙතිල්ට දෙනවා මේ කේක් එකෙන් කෑලි 5ක් කන්න දෙනවා කියලා. Don't worry, I'm going to give him. නෙතිල්ට දෙනවා කේක් එකෙන් කෑලි 5ක් කන්න. අපි හිතමු සවීෂකට දෙනවා 5ක්. කියලා දෙනවා. විනාඩියයි දෙන්නේ. Only 1 minute. You have to eat as many as possible in 1 minute. Then the 5 minutes. Like Abhitamu Netil is going to have 3.5. And she is going to have all 5. Right? Then why is it insult mode? Right? Right. They have something on the diet. So then what will be the rate? Rate of eating cake is 3.5 per minute. Yeah? 5 per minute. Under rate. What are the rate? Rate is any change, any amount happens in a single unit of time. ඒක තමයි rate කියන්නේ. Right? ඒක තමයි rate. For example, let's say you want to see how fast the rate of your hair growth. Right? ඔයා අද measure කරලා තියෙනවා length එක හෙට measure කරනවා and get disappointed. ඇයි ඒ? තාම එකද. අනිත් measure කරනවා get disappointed තාම එකද. But you measure it in after 1 month time, you will see there is 1 millimeter. Right? 1 millimeter. මාසකට මෙච්චරද වෙන්නේ? ඔගේ නෑ. උදේ වෙනවා ඊට Okay. Let's say 5 centimeters. Right? Find a way. 4 centimeters come within the day series. 4 centimeters. So then per month, 4 centimeters. It's a rate. Or you can divide 4 centimeters by 4 weeks. Month is 4 weeks. Okay, Ranavi? Okay, 4 weeks. And per week, how many centimeters? 1 centimeter. 1 centimeter. So 1 centimeter per week. That's a rate. Right? Okay. So write down the rate is a measure of change that happens in a single unit of time.
taking from the school today.
Not. Hold on. After class. Right, but this unit of time can be a second, minute, or an hour, or an even day. You need to write that as well. Okay. All right. So here we have the topic rate of chemical reaction. We just learned rate. The rate is something amount change per unit time. So then what is rate of chemical reaction? You can see there are like 3 beakers. Now this is soon after you added zinc into sulfuric acid. Zinc into sulfuric acid. So these reactions you are very familiar now. You get hydrogen gas bubbles produced. So we want to follow up the rate of reaction. According to what we just learned, the rate is a change per unit time. So what can you like see or measure or follow to say its rate of reaction? It's any change per minute or a second. So how do you like experimentally measure rate of chemical reaction?
So like how much products has been formed?
How much products has been formed for what?
So gram or kilo.
Then
Per unit.
per unit time. You must always work with the time as well as the change of the amount. Time එක නැතුව rate කියලා කතාවක් නෑ. Exactly. Right? But when you say amount of product, it is not still practical. මගේ practical දෙයක්. ඔයා කොහොමද
Hydrogen.
amount of hydrogen produced. එහෙනම් ඔයා කොහොමද ඒක කරන්න ඕනේ? syringe එකක් ගහලා gas එක collect කරන්න බලන්න. What are minimum simple observations කරන්න පුළුවන්?
Bubbles.
You can see how many bubbles per minute. Right? That will give you an idea about rate. But that's not a measure. That's just like guessing. Right? Yes?
So we can even measure the mass of the decrease of mass. and
The decrease of mass.
hydrogen gas.
Yeah, because hydrogen goes out. If hydrogen goes out, the mass of the system is going to decrease. So you can measure that decrease of mass per, I mean, for some time and divide it.
Sir,
You get it? Yes.
amount of zinc like just disappeared after the rain.
කොහොමද අපි මොකක්ද amount එක කියන්නේ? I need a practical answer. Sir, මොකක්ද ඔයාලට measure කරන්න පුළුවන්? Any answer?
The volume of sulfuric acid after reaction.
The volume of the whole solution is going to be the same. Volume එක solution එකේ volume එක වෙනස් වෙන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. You can say like this. You can say concentration of sulfuric. The concentration change of sulfuric. You can say like that. But again, how do you measure the මම අහන්නේ ඔයාට practically දුන්නොත් මම මේ cake quality ටික දුන්නොත් මේගොල්ලෝ කන rate එක හොයන්නේ ඉතුරු වෙලා තියෙන rate quality ටික ගණන් කරන්න පුළුවන්. You can count it. Right? Or you can measure the weight of the remaining cake. Right? And then subtract from the initial mass and then divide it by the time. Is that clear? Right? මේ වගේ මොකක් හරි මේ lesson එක practical lesson එකක්. අද අපි practical එකකුත් කරනවා class එකේ. Yes. Group wise. Right? Or group එකක්.
Any calculation?
මොකද?
You can't do any calculation.
You can do. හැබැයි ඒව practical. Those are practical experimental stuff. Right? ඒ theoretical calculations තියෙනවා නේ නෙමෙයි. මම කියන්නේ මේක අර අපි කලින් ඉගෙන ගත්ත lessons වලට වැඩිය this is highly what experimental lesson.
So you can find the amount that needs to be formed using the mass that you are thinking.
Yes, but that's a calculation of expected amount of zinc sulfate. But to find out the rate of reaction, you can't use an expected amount.
So
Right.
sir, the mass is the most, what is
Take the mind. We come to this point. So both zinc and sulfuric get used up in the reaction at the same time. Zinc sulfate and hydrogen form. So make a measurement from methods හතරක් තියෙනවා. You can measure the amount of zinc used per minute. Amount of zinc කියන්නේ mass of zinc. Or you can measure the amount of sulfuric used up per minute. Per minute, how much sulfuric is used up. Right? I mean, these are theoretical suggestions. You can measure the amount of zinc sulfate produced. The way reaction a solution equals zinc sulfate හැදෙනවා. Right? You can measure that. You can measure the amount of hydrogen produced per minute. මේ දෙකෙන් practical answers තියෙන දෙකයි. මොනවාද? You can't measure sulfuric. What pH meter එකක් use කරොත් පුළුවන්. Right? But even that doesn't give you sulfuric, it gives you the acidity. Right? And you can't measure zinc sulfate. යාට කලර් එකකුත් නැහැ, මුකුත් නැහැ, precipitate එකකුත් නෙමෙයි. ඒකේ දැන් measure කරන්න බෑ. So then the best possible way that you can measure the mass of this reaction is either find the mass change of zinc. For example, you know the initial mass you added and let the reaction happen for 5 minutes. After the reaction happens, measure the remaining mass and divide it by the 5 minutes. Right? You can measure the zinc mass, or you can collect the gas. You can collect the gas like this. Right? The gas can be collected into the syringe. Is that clear? Therefore, you go to the your yeah, the methods of like following up this reaction. You can measure the amount of zinc used up. That's a practical thing. Make ඉස්සරහින් කියන්නකොට කොහොමද මේක කරන්න කියලා අහගන්න. How do you do that? Measure the initial mass of zinc. Measure the mass of zinc remaining after 5 minutes, and then subtract and divide. Subtract and then mass change divided by time. Right? පොඩක් අහගන්න තව චුට්ටකින් තමයි. හැබැයි ඔය ලියනකොට practically දාන්නත් ඕනේ. දැන් when you are measuring the remaining zinc, can you measure that like from the whole solution? Can you measure that? So you have to what? Filter, dry remaining zinc, wash and dry remaining zinc, and then measure the mass. ඒවා කියන්න ඕනේ. Right. මේ දෙක තමයි most practical, but the other two are also theoretical, yes.
But it's still just.
නෑ එතකොට ඔයාලට එන්නේ zinc mass එක නෙමෙයි. You get the mass of the whole system at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then mass of the whole system at the end. The difference is the mass loss. What is lost is the mass of hydrogen.
That is also practical, right?
That's also practical. That's one way you can measure the mass of products produced.
aspirants, right?
Yes. Also, you can find the mass loss. On the mass loss also, you can find the amount of hydrogen produced. හරිනේ? දැන් අනිත් දෙකත් ලියලා කට් කරන්න. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒවා practical නැහැ කියලා නේ. But they are also theoretically yes, no? If there is a method we know, yes, possible. Yeah, yes, you can use a gas reject correct. All right, so let's move into the next one. So today's lesson, Lamai, it's very special because I told you I'm in the process of constantly improving our teaching and learning experience. The make a well set tutorial, right? This is mostly activity based. I mean mix lecturing, activity based, discussion based, discovery learning, or common. So, but finally it's in your hand to take the maximum out of it, right? So in general, to find out the rate of reaction, what you have to do, we have to measure the change and the time. So for example, let's say zinc sulfuric reaction, right? Suppose initial mass of zinc that you started off 3 grams, right? And final mass of zinc once the reaction is over 1.2 grams, right? And the time taken for this, suppose you did the reaction for 4 minutes, right? So if I ask you what's the rate of reaction, how do you calculate this? So rate of reaction is equal to mass difference. That's the always it should be a difference, right? A change divided by the time taken, right? So then this is going to be 3 minus 1.2 divided by 4 minutes. This is 1.8 divided by 2, that is 0.45 then. Yes. 0.45 grams per minute. Unknown rate. You can calculate it. Yeah. Right? Yes. Right? This is one way you can do. Right? Another way, right? You can measure the initial volume. I'm giving just examples. Initial volume 0. Final volume, that means volume of hydrogen you collect, right? Let's say 40 cm3. And time taken 5 minutes. Can't you find the rate of reaction? Can, right? 40 minus 0 divided by 5. You get it? And then you find the rate of reaction. So likewise, yeah. But this is not going to be always easy. If you're doing only one experiment, 5 years, of course. You have to measure the mass as well as measure the time. There are other ways you can compare the rates. We'll see one, right? Have you? How do you know the world record of Usain Bolt 100-meter performance? 9 seconds. 9.58 seconds. Right? Again, යාට පුළුවන් right? 9.58 seconds only 280. Right? And he was the fastest man in the world. No, right? But he's the one gave that shocking performance by a human. ඊට කලින් 9.5 කාට කවුරුත් ඇවිල්ලා තිබ්බේ නැහැ. ඔක්කොම 10 region එකේ තමයි හිටියේ. Right? I mean 10 වලට අපි but close to that. So then the record is no, he's the fastest man. The record is not his speed. Record එක express කරන්නේ seconds only. Time එක. ඒ කොහොමද ඒක වෙන්නේ? How come that explains the speed of his running? The rate එක නම් අපි explain කරන change divided by time. There are Usain Bolt record එක. Fastest man, he is the fastest 9.5 seconds. How come that is a record?
Then that is for the meters.
Standard amount.
අන්න හරි. Everybody was asked in the game to run what? 100 meters. Right? The change, right, given for all the athletes to run is 100 meters. Okay, okay? Right? Everyone ran 100 meters. So if you keep the change constant, then you can measure the rate by the what? Rate by the Usain Bolt record කොහොමද තියාගත්තේ? Rate by the time. Right? So the higher the time, faster or slower? Slower. Huh? Higher the time, slower. Lower the time, faster. So there's fastest person record the slowest time. Is that clear? Therefore, let's say the amount of reactant used up or amount of products produced in given time, not this one, this one. You can do experiment twice. Let's say experiment A or an experiment B. Let's say you are doing two experiments, right? With zinc sulfate, right? And you are going to say, I am going to collect only 40 cm cube in both case. 40 cm cube. Then we measure karane how much for 1 minute we measure karane. We said that we draw mark in the syringe 40. So we measure only the time taken for the 40 moves. Right? Like this, what we did for the athletes. Time taken for the athlete to run. Right? That's one way. Now let's say experiment A, it happens in 10 seconds. Experiment B, it happens in 15 seconds. What is fastest one? Huh? What's the fastest one? Experiment A. Is that clear? Right. There is another way. Right? In a straight line, way to the one again. Kilometers one again, there's another one again. Right? Have you 30 seconds at a stretch. So I don't ask them to run particular distance. Right? I am going to ask them to run only 30 seconds. So how the pass will be.
Just cover the most number of distance.
Shortest? Shortest what?
The shortest time, sir.
Yeah, the shortest time කියලා ගන්න ඉන්නේ තුන් දෙනාටම දුවන්න කිව්ව කොච්චරද? 30 seconds. ඒක තමයි තේරුම් ගන්න ඕනේ.
So the
Most meters.
Sorry?
Public find the rate in that.
එතන අපි ඒක rate එක හොයන්න ඕන හොයන්න පුළුවන්. This is how you say rate is indirectly proportional to time. මෙතන rate is directly proportional to then time එක constant. Therefore rate is directly proportional to the change. I made it උඩ තියෙන change එක යට තියෙන්නේ මොකද්ද? Time එක. So then we keep mass difference constant and check the time, or keep the time constant and check the mass difference. Within a practical way of doing experiments. Time is directly proportional to the change. Correct. Yeah. Yes, Philip. Yes, yes. Go. Our taking may say will have no mood. The cake color වැඩිද? වගේද? June 31st.
Yeah.
June 31st.
That you found it later. Oh, it's.
June 31st එකක් නැහැ කොහොමද කැලෙන්ඩර් එක. ඉනාගසන් දෙපාර්තමේන්ත ක්‍රෑප් වෙනකොට. Tell you surprise that day. He's coming down.
Music happy birthday when he comes up with the lights off.
කියමුද මොකද කියන්නේ? මම lights off කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. ආනර.
That is cool, yes.
නෑ දැන් ඕනේ දැන් ඕනේ. මේ නේ.
The lights were on. Ayyo.
විනු පේන්න. අර ඔක්කොම ලයිට් ඒවා ගන්න.
Switch off කරන්න.
එපා ලයිට් එක දාලා. අවුල්ද කියන්නේ මම කිව්වේ නෑ. මේ ළමයි කියන ඔක්කොම අහන්න එපා.
හරි නරක ළමයි. හොඳට සේවි.
හරියනේ ඔක ලියන්න. Did you do the calculation? Wait, ඒකම. ඒක එම්බ නැත්නම් ඒක දන්නේ නැහැ. තාම අnder. You need to find the wait. මොකද?
So for the others, they take 80% attendance, right? Attendance to the per attendance, honestly.
Government is for it.
මෙහෙමයි දැන් normally there was a rule but with this corona cases and all these things it wasn't that much hard and fast. ඉස්කෝලෙන් බලන්න. Otherwise okay, so there is a lot of space given in that the two areas which I don't have to I'm not going to entertain now. Space එක තියාගන්න space මදි වුණොත් එතන හැදෙන්න තියෙනවා. හරිද? What I want you guys to understand, when we are actually calculating rate, we usually measure both. If you just evaluate the rates, right? You just evaluate the rate, then you don't have to measure both. You can measure the time taken for a constant change. Here, all the change happen for the constant time. All right. Yes. Right, like the two examples I gave. Okay. So let's move into the next. Now here, right, we are going to I'm going to explain you a model experiment, right? Model experiment to follow a rate of reaction. Now this is magnesium with HCl. මේ වගේ reaction එක දැක්ක ගමන් ඔයාලට අදාළ click වෙන්න ඕනේ. මේක rate of reaction හොයන්න පුළුවන් methods දෙකක් තියෙනවා. මොනවාද methods දෙක? It's a solid and acid reaction. And a gas is given. Right? What can you measure? Tell me what can you measure here? The reaction එකේ rate එක ගන්න මොකක්ද ඔයාලා measure කරන්නේ? That's what we have been talking about now. Yes. The reaction එකේ මොකක්ද ඔයාලා observations වලින් measure කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක බලන්න මොකද reaction එක බලන්න මේ diagram එකේ තියෙන ඔක්කොම information තියෙනවා මේක. What can you measure? Answer එකක් තියෙනවා board එකේ. මේකේ ඔයාලට measure කරන්න පුළුවන් මොකක්ද මේ reaction එක. Reaction එක කියන්න මට just read the reaction for me. Loud, read the reaction. and magnesium, HCl giving you what? Magnesium chloride and hydrogen what? එතකොට ඔයාලට මොකක්ද මේක මෙෂර් කරන්නේ? ඔයාලට මොකක්ද මේ ප්‍රැක්ටිකල් එකෙන් මෙෂර් කරන්නේ? කලෙක්ට් කරලා මෙෂර් කරන්න පුළුවන් මොකක්ද? Volume of what? Hydrogen gas. තේරුණානේ? ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ ප්‍රශ්න තියෙන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේ ඉන්ෆෝමේෂන් ගන්න නේද? Right? ඒ ගන්න බලන්න ඕනේ. Information through as දෙක අරන් යන්න ඕනේ, read කරන්න ඕනේ, ඒකත් එක්ක හිතන්න ඕනේ. Right? So you fix a gas cylinder. Right? එක්ක ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මහන්සි එක්ක ඔයගොල්ලෝ වෙන ලෝකෙක ඉන්නේ. But oh, you are not used to, but it's time to change. Right? එක්ක නිදිමත ගේම් ගාලා ඊයර. Right? හරි ඒකට අදාළ topic දාගන්න එපා යන්න. Okay. So then the gas is produced and will be collected into the gas cylinder. Right?
Sir, we can only measure the volume. We can't.
So why was that?
Why not?
Excess than the.
Excess dilute hydrochloric acid දානවා කියන්නේ ෂුවර් එකටම මැග්නීසියම් මොනවා වෙනවද? fully react වෙනවා. එතකොට initial magnesium mass එකයි final magnesium mass එකයි කියලා දෙයක් හොයන්න බැහැ. magnesium fully නැති වෙනවා. අපි ඔයාලට ඒක පුළුවන්. initially දාපු mass එක දාන්නවා. final mass එක 0. ඒකට change එකක් නැහැ. නැත්නම් ඔයාලට system එකේ mass එක deduct කරන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට එන්නේ මොකද්ද? loss mass. What is the loss mass? Mass of what? Mass of hydrogen went out. හැබැයි ඒක suitable නැහැ. නෑ collected ඉඳ නෙමෙයි. අපිට collect වුණාට මෙයාගේ mass එක අඩු වෙනවා. අපි gas syringe එක අයින් කළානේ mass එක බලන්න. නෑ ඒකින්ද නෙමෙයි. Hydrogen is a very light gas. මේක නිකන් 500 grams විතර තියෙන මුළු system එකයි තමයි. plastic එකේ බරක් දෙනවා. අරක නිකන් 0.005 grams විතර අඩු වෙනවා. balance එකට දැනේ ඒක අඩු නෑ කියන්නේ. නෑ hydrogen is a light gas. Right? Therefore it's finding mass loss of hydrogen is kind of not practical. අන්නේ වගේ හිතන්න ඕනේ. හරිද? හරි. ඒතර අපි මේ experiment එක කරන්නේ කොහොමද? We have to clean the magnesium with sandpaper. ඇයි ඒ sandpaper වලින්?
Impurities.
මොකක්ද impurity එක? magnesium කියන. magnesium කියන impurity එක මොකක්ද? Oxide එක. Any metal has its oxide layer around it. Right? With air it reacts. So you have to get rid of that. Right? And then put the dilute hydrochloric acid into flask, drop the magnesium and insert the stopper quickly and set the syringe immediately and start the clock. Right? Same time, you have to measure the volume. Now this is a proper practical. We are not just going to measure the volume at the end. Okay, right? Not at the end. Rather, we measure the volume every half a minute. Every half a minute. Right? So what you're going to do, you're going to write this down, the procedure, and you're going to plot it. See whether you get a plot like this.
I have a small question.
Yes.
Bit out of it.
Yes.
It's regarding.
Sorry?
It's bites. Bit out of it. Regarding. So, usually very high reactive methods are put in oil, right?
Yes.
So, some bonded still oxidized because oxygen can use
Yes. Yes.
Then
Slightly oxygen. ලොකු oxygen percentage එකක් තියෙන විදියක් නැහැ. ඒකයි අර අපි මේ lithium, sodium, especially lithium වගේ එකක් ගත්තා. It's dark outside. It's dark. Even sodium is darker. When you cut it, only it is shiny. Okay. For deep oxygen concentration at the air, the outer layer will react. Because we closed the capillary. Okay, so while you are writing this, we can enjoy piece of cake from below. Right, and the below.
So I was so happy when the school played music yesterday.
Today
Oh, what?
That Lyceum FM.
ඉස්සර තිබ්බ හැමදාම ඒගොල්ලෝ සින්දුවක් දානවා.
Sir, the playlist is done.
No,
Oh, they did.
they started inside the radio thing. Yeah.
They put similar sounds today.
Ready? Am I ready?
In the front. Ready for what?
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you. Damn, class and right? Others don't get upset. Make everyone should upset in the bar, right? Oh, cake again, no, and then I should have some time to do that also. But I do it very quickly. Hey, Mang, yeah, very good. Nah, if I upset in the bar, I'm going to say so. Thank you. I got to buy it. I'll make that.
Yeah.
That's it.
It is the smallest thing.
So I guess I'm the only 13-year-old in this room.
This is the.
Youngest
Till when?
and the tallest.
No,
No.
they was it.
So it will be
That comes up.
16, yeah.
You mean this month?
Yeah. No, it will 16 months.
They can up without cake come with it.
Okay.
Your birthday is today.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
The blue box. The Martin tried asking.
Because we don't celebrate before.
I carry the.
Found it
Her birthday is also?
on the last day of school. So like we
Last-
really need cake without that.
Last.
Last day, maybe then December.
So mark it December.
Ayyo. And you, nobody got the
May Hari, then Mage time with Hari the wedding. I don't want to waste my time on it. There's that.
Miss Kennedy. Thank you.
Are you eating cake or the dinner? Then graph එක අදින්න දැන් ඔය ගෙවල් වල ප්‍රොසෙස් ඒවා වැඩන්නේ.
That doesn't gossip, that doesn't fact.
දැන් ඕන්න Point, I don't need any talking now. Full silence. Kanisha. යවනවා ගෙදර. කතා කරනකොට වචන. දාන්න මුගෝඩ. No.
It's not the mask.
Then?
It's the mask
I
put
thought
into
it's
the animals to stop
Why?
fighting.
Stop.
All right. Okay.
Sir, you did it.
I will. Thank you.
So March I cast it.
Statement कौन सा है पढ़ रहे थे नीचे एक ग्रुप में आया था एक ही लगे
අරක දීපා මේ මොකක්ද? මේ ෆෝමැට් එක හැවුනේ.
No, sir said to remove it.
It's in the meeting chat. You can download it. You guys are talking about.
Happy birthday to our dear
Yeah, 1 minute. Not only 1 minute, it has given the time duration always 1 minute. So then when you find the volume during that particular minute, means it's the same thing, right? Rate එකම තමයි ඔය volume එක කියලා එන්නේ. 14 cm cube per minute. The last one is the overall rate. The last column. කරගෙන යන්න කොහොමද තේරෙන්නේ? That's also 1 minute, no? 1 minute, 2 minutes, also 1 minute. So the volume change during that thing is the rate itself. Like per minute, take a thing. So what you are doing in the class is something what you have to do in the exam itself, right? Drawing these graphs and answering the questions of the graphs. You'll be doing the same thing in the exam. X-axis expanded body. No, sir. ඒක තව expand කරන්න ඕන මගේ ගැලපෙන විදිහට දුන්නේ. You can answer that questions in the right? If you're done with the table and then you have questions the other side. The මෙච්චර වෙලා කතන්දර අහගෙන ඉතියේ දැන් වැඩ කරා. You must have got 14 cm cube here, and it is the rate itself because they ask volume divided by time means volume is 40, time 0 to 1, that means 1. So here the volume is 11.
Yeah.
11. How do you know that? That's the case. Now make a 1 වල value එකයි 2 වල value එකයි අරගෙන මොකද කරන්න ඕනේ? Subtract කරන්න ඕනේ, right? So what are the two values? Can you tell me? 25 minus 40 and change per minute. So that is the rate. And 2 to 3, it's going to be right same way of doing it. That's 30 key 30. 33, 34. Right. Is that should be exactly 33 for everyone? No. It depends on how you draw the curve. So the answers might be slightly different in the exams. As far as it tallies with your graph, then they give the marks. Right?
So 2 to 3 is something between 3 and 25.
Then make our 8 cm cube.
Yes.
8 cm cube divided by 1 minute means again 8 cm cube per minute. Now 0 to 5. 0 to 5. So you have to take the whole volume difference. That's 47 divided by 5. 40 divided by 5 is 8 cm cube per minute. That's that you call it average rate. What do you call it? Average rate. Because the rate didn't stay constant throughout. It was varying, right? Remember, at the beginning, the rate is very
High.
high rate. Rate is very high, and then the rate is getting less. What I draw here are the tangents. Tangents show rate, gradient. Gradient is a rate, right? How fast the volume change. Is that clear?
Yes.
And then once the tangent become like giving gradient 0, that means the rate, there is no rate, means there is no rate, means there is no, no change means there is no
Reaction.
reaction. That means the reaction has
Not taken.
not taken place. Reaction has stopped. It has completely happened. Probably a limiting reagent is over. And then when you control it.
So that if we keep on providing, it will continue to react, right, sir?
Sorry?
It like keep on continue to like.
Add the reactants, yes. But here we didn't add, no, we add once and then measure the volume. Correct. Make questions and answers clear. Sorry? Wait. Place, no? Place. Right? I want you guys to answer from the question 2. Make a homework. Make a homework. 2, 3. Yeah, start from 2. 2 onwards, everything.
No, I mean, yeah. Yeah. So it exceeds that. So it's so far, that's it.
In the case of the and the gradient reaction is visible. Oh, yes, yes, the rate. Any reaction. What is it? What they gave me?
I saw you. You lost to the part of 3.
You also know the questions. They are there, අපි බලමු the answers ඕක. දැන් වෙලාව දෙන්න. ඊයෝ ගෙම ඉන්න වැඩේ කරන්න නැතුව.
The last question.
අපි අනිත් ඉවරයි නේ. ඔක්කොම ඉවරයි. Okay. Second one, yes. From the graph at the top of this page, how can you tell when the reaction is over? Okay, so you can say no change in volume of gas collected, volume of hydrogen gas collected.
The gradient
Eman
is
kiya-
zero.
Gradient is zero. එහෙම කියන්න
So can
පුළුවන්.
we say the.
But this is the easiest answer you can say. Yeah,
Say the biggest constant after.
correct, correct. Volume has the graph show top because they say top of this page graph and but better you say the time first. No change in the volume of gas collected after 40. No, 5 minutes. Ne? After 5 minutes. Or you can say the volume of gas has become constant volume. It doesn't change over a period of time. Or after 5 minutes. How much hydrogen is produced in the first 2.5 minutes? 2.5. මෙතනට නේ? 29. Okay. Table එකෙන් බලන්න පුළුවන්. Right? And in 4.5 minutes, 39. Others agree with this?
Yes.
29, 39. Correct. How long did it take to get 20 cm?
Seconds.
1 minute and 30 seconds. So you can say 1.5 minutes. Right? Or 1 minute and 30 seconds. But not like this. Huh? Don't write this. This is wrong. 1.3. Also, this is wrong. Just 1.5, no units, wrong.
So we just write. We fraction is like 90 seconds.
90 seconds, correct.
So let's say the graphs that they have given it in minutes. So on that it can
As far as you give the correct unit and the correct decimal, then correct. Right, what's the rate of reaction during the 4th minute? That means you measure the difference between the volume between 3rd and 4th minute, did you? 4th minute කියන්නේ ළමයි මේ බලන්න. මොකද්ද 4th minute කියන්නේ?
4 minute can 0.4.
නෑ. 4th minute කියන්නේ this is the first minute, second minute, third minute, this is the 4th minute. First minute is 0 to 1, second minute is 1 to 2, third minute is 2 to 3.
So but it's in a minute, 60 seconds, but
Within 40
we write it as 0.
The 4th minute කියන්නේ 3 to 4. මම කියන දේ ඉස්සල්ලා බලන්නකො කල්පනා කරලා. Right? 0 to 1 කියන්නේ first minute. First minute කියන්නේ ඒකනේ. When the first minute happened? From time 0 to first minute. Second minute of the process is any time after 1 and just on 2. So if you go to 4th minute, it's from 3 to 4. So 3 to 4 බලන්න නම් මේ දෙන්නගේ difference එක තමයි ගන්න ඕනේ. Right? බලන්න කීයද වැලි වෙන්නේ? 3 to 4 බලන්න. ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ value එක කියන්නේ. Calculate කරලා තමයි කියන්නේ සේකයි. හා? 5. අදේ කියනවා 5 කියලා. Others 1.2. ඕවලින් බෙදන්න එපා. Don't divide it by 4. Then fourth point එක කියන්නේ fourth minute එක කියන්නේ fourth minute. You have first minute, second minute, third minute, fourth minute. So during that fourth minute, what's the average? Right. දැන් මම ඒක ඇඳලා දීලා පෙන්නනවා fourth minute කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? experiment එකනේ 0 to 1 කියන්නේ first minute period එක. 1 to 2 කියන්නේ second minute period. 3 to 4 කියන්නේ sorry 2 to 3 කියන්නේ third minute period එක. 3 to 4 කියන්නේ fourth minute period. So you are basically finding the difference between that. Yeah, then
Sir, this question same my questions.
Yeah.
Sir, from 0 to 1 first minute क्या करते हैं? इन बगाने में जाते हैं.
0 to 1.
Yeah, first minute.
ඉතින් එහෙමනේ මම කිව්වේ.
No, sir. Sir,
එහෙමනේ මම කිව්වේ. 0 to 1 is the first minute. That's what I said, right? The exact words I used. ඒක තමයි කියන්නේ කියනකොට හරියට අහගන්න. Right?
But they are asking the rate.
ඔය ඉතින්
What's the difference in the rate?
එතකොට difference එක time එකෙන් බෙදලා නෙන්නේ.
See,
ඒ වාරන්තිය 3 to 4 minutes 1. The volume divided by 1 is the rate.
5.
Okay, good. කමන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට points වලට argue කරන්න ප්‍රශ්නේ නැහැ. It's not a waste of time. ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ වැඩේ කරන්න දුන්න වෙලාවට time එක waste කරලා අන්තිම මොහොතේ මේ නැට්ට ගිනි අරගෙන හොයන එක. හරි. Okay. Right. 6 minute. You can see the change is what? 0 divided by 1 minute. Therefore, it's 0 minutes, 0 cm cube per minute. 6 minute. 6 minute can like that's the time from 5 to 6. ඒක තමයි 6 minute duration. 6 minute කියන්නේ 5 to 6 duration. මෙහෙම A level වලදී නම් මේක කරන්නේ වෙන විදිහක්. 4th minute එකේ rate එක හොයන්න කිව්වම මම ඕන කියන්නම් A level වලදී කරනකොට ඔය ප්‍රශ්නේ නැහැ. Right? What you do at the 4th minute, you draw tangent. Tangent එකක් හොයලා මේ tangent එකේ gradient එක හොයන්න ඕනේ. ඒ A level method එක. අපි O level වලදී ඒවා කරන්නේ. හරි? අපි the tangent method is most accurate. අපි හැමදෙස්සෙම difference එකක් ගත්තොත් එන්නේ ළමයි average එක. Right? Average is something like this. Suppose you travel from Colombo to Kandy. Right? You usually have around 150 kilometers. නිකන් හිතන්න 100 kilometers කියලා. Right? 100 kilometers කියලා හිතන්න. Right? And suppose you take 4 hours, normally 4 hours වත් යනවා අනුම ධර්මයේ. Right? නිකන් ලෙක්චර් එක කියනවා. तर බැලුවම rate වාගේ rate එක තියෙන්නේ 100 divided by 4. So it's 25 kilometers per hour. හැබැයි එහෙම කිව්වට ඔයා 25 kilometers per hour වලින්ද drive කරන්නේ? නෑ. සමහරවල්ලාට 100 kilometers per hour යනවා. සමහරවල්ලාට slow යනවා. traffic එකේදී 10 යනවා, 5 යනවා. නතර කරලා තියෙනවා. So your speed is different at different points. But your overall speed is calculated in average basis. Right? So we calculate කරන්නේ මොන rates? Average rates, not exact correct rate. Exact correct rate calculate කරන්නේ අපි A levels. Right. Then what we can do now is after understanding how the rate of reaction experiments are conducted, right? Now we can compare how rate is affected by different factors, right? You guys know the factors govern the rate of reaction. You did it in grade 8. Concentration of reactants, whether the reactants are powdered or lumps, right? Okay, you know that it's difficult to dissolve big crystals of what? Salt, but powdered salt will dissolve much faster because the surface area is higher. And at temperature, when the temperature is higher, the rate of reaction will be higher. But we have to experimentally show that, right? Now, what we can do, since we know like proper ways of doing this, right? In order to see whether concentration has an impact on rate of reaction. We are conducting the same experiment and getting the results for two graphs. Right? So here we have done two experiments. Suppose I have done the first experiment with the concentration of hydrochloric acid 0.1 mole per dm cube. And the second experiment I have done 0.2 moles per dm cube. Right? We know usually if the concentration is higher, the rate is going to be higher. ඒක තමයි අපි expect කරන්නේ. දැන් මේ result එක ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. දැන් මේ result එකෙන් අපි calculate කරලා පෙන්නන්න ඕනේ. We need to do a calculation that the rate is higher at higher concentration, so you can conclude it. දැන් මේකේ කොහොමද average rate එක අපි calculate කරන්නේ? Let's say we consider reaction A. How do you find the average rate? දැන් අපි කරා මේ කලින් කරපු activity එකේදී ඒක තමයි කරේ. How do you find the average rate? Average rate of the whole experiment. කොහොමද කරන්නේ? Total time taken for total volume. Total time කියනකොට වැඩිය හොඳයි. The time taken to collect 60 cm cube. මොකද මේ හැම time එකේදීම 60 නේ තියෙන්නේ. But which time? The point of time that you achieve 60 at the first. ඒක තමයි time එක, reaction time එක. දැන් මෙතන 60 ද? දැන් මෙතන 60 ද? නෑ තාම නෑ වගේ. මේක හොඳට බැලුවොත් 60 වෙන්නේ මෙතනදී. ඒතර ඔයා ගන්න ඕනේ ඒ time එක. Do you understand? Right? ඔයාගේ total volume difference එක 60, time difference එක මෙතන ගන්න ඕනේ. මේක approximately 120 ගන්න lazy. But what calculators තියෙනවා? Experiment B එකේ what's the maximum that you have got? Still 60, right? එයාගේ time එක 60. ඒ කියන්නේ එයාගේ time එක අඩුයි. So experiment B එකට ගිහිල්ලා තියෙන time එක අඩුයි. Experiment A එකට ගිහිල්ලා තියෙන time එක වැඩි. ඒකට ඔයාලට පුළුවන් rate එක හොයන්න. So rate එක හොයුවාට පස්සේ ඔයාලට conclude කරන්න පුළුවන් experiment B has a faster rate which had the higher concentration of acid. So the conclusion is higher the concentration of acid, faster the rate of reaction. That's our next day lesson, right? Very good. Now the experiment side එක next day අපි ඉගෙන ගන්නවා theoretical side.
That can be said as fast because of the diamond particles present.
Yes, of course. අපි ඒක ඊළඟ දවසේ discuss කරමු. හරි කරන්න activity එක. මොකක්ද දැන් කරන්න ඕනේ activity එක? You can see that calculate the average rate of experiment and from the calculations you done then you can find the rate equation එක මොකක්ද කියන්නේ? Change divided by time. Change කියන්නේ මෙතන මොන change එකද? Volume එක equation එක දීලා තියෙනවා. Information read කරන්න දැන් තියෙන information. දැන් තියෙන information එක read කරන්න.
Time per second.
Minute seconds and upper seconds. Whatever they have given. Not the whole vessel, but the whole tube. There is another part of tube. Will be මේ experiment එක තමයි අහන්න. So that's true. We are collecting the same amount of and then measuring the time. We don't really have to calculate the average. From the time you can say who is fast, like the Usain Bolt case, right? But when we do the average, that means we find the average. Likewise, we said that how fast is Usain Bolt, right? Per minute or per second. එහෙම කියන්න පුළුවන්. But this experiment, even though you feel like that, is little more different than that because we find the volume at every minute and plot. Right there, we don't like measure distance that every second he travels, but here we measure the volume for every minute or half a minute or like that and then we plot every 10 seconds, right? So this is more experiments. Is that clear?
Right. This is practical to do that.
This is practical, yes. This is a very practical lesson, right? Okay. Laboratory පොඩක් කරගෙන ඉන්නවද මේ කවුද මේ ජර්නලයි මෙතුකයි මේ පොඩක් උදව් කරන්න මිස්ටර් වෙදකයා ගෙනත් එතකොට laboratory දාලා right? Don't go inside. මෙතන මේගොල්ලෝ ගෙනත් දෙන්න මේගොල්ලෝ එක ටේබල් එකට එක මේ සෙට් එක දාන්න දෙන්න.
So set up किया
නෑ එක group එක page එක group.
දැන් මඩේ
ආවා මෙතන. Just සාසයෙන් තන්නේ. Now එතකොට ඒත් බෑ නේත් ප්‍රශ්නේ. එතකොට දෙතිල් තමයි. දෙතිල් මෙතන කතා කරන්නේ නේද? ඇති. time of change. So here we are going to find the time taken for the precipitate produced to make this cross to disappear when you look at from this side. Right? So we assume in both cases, you need the same amount of precipitate to disappear the cross. Therefore, I give one very important precaution. Same person must time when you are going to what? When the cross is going to disappear. Same person must time it. Time it in the sense somebody can press the time, but the person who is observing it should be the same in both cases. I'll tell you why later on. Exactly. Right. So here we have sodium thiosulfate. This compound is called sodium thiosulfate, which is in the boiling tube. Main sodium thiosulfate, Na2S2O3. It is going to produce sulfur. You don't have to by heart this reaction. It's not in your syllabus to by heart or to know. Right? You don't have to know it fully. You need the experiment experience only. Then what you are going to do now, you are going to mix 10 cm cube of sodium thiosulfate in both cases, temperature A, temperature B. You are going to mix 10 cm cube පොඩ්ඩක් හරි ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඕක ඇතුලේ තියෙන solutions ඔබලා කරලා මේව කරගත්තොත් මට මොකුත් කියන්න එපා. වැරදෙයි. හරිද? අර වඳුරෝ ඉන්නේ අත තියන් ඉන්න බෑනේ මොකක් හරි දැක්ක මේ විදියට වෙන්න එපා. පොඩ්ඩක් ඉන්න මේක වැඩේ කියලා focus කරන්න මේක. Right, and you are going to put 5 cm cube of HCl. And in addition to that, we are going to add some water so that I can change the temperature in both cases. We are going to put hot water and cold water. 10 net. Right? So first, you do it this with hot water. So they අපි කරන්නේ මෙහෙමයි. ඕඩ් එක හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න ඕඩ් එක වැරද්දුවොත් ඉවරයි මේක. පස්සේ මට මුකුත් කියන්න එපා. ඕඩ් එක you have the thiosulfate solution. First you add your water. Hot or cold මුලින් දාන්නේ water. Then you add what? HCl. HCl දානකොටම time කරන්න පටන් ගන්න. ඒකින්ද මේ stop watch එක ඔබලා පුරුදු වෙන්න. මේකෙන් තමයි stop watch එක පටන් ගන්න. මොකද? boiling tube එක. X තියෙන එකේ. ඔව්. හරිද? 0 කරන්න අනිත් එකෙන්. 0 කරන්න අනිත් එක. හරිද? 0 කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැ පටන් ගත්තා. බලාගෙන ඉන්නවා cross එක disappear වෙනකම්. disappear වෙන ගමන් නතර කරනවා. ඒක ගල්ලා time එක තියාගන්න ඕනේ.
Sir, we have to start the time with HCl.
HCl. එතකොට reaction එක වෙන්නේ reaction is between sodium thiosulfate and HCl.
So HCl 10 centimeter.
වතුර දාන්නේ එකක් හරිනම් මේ අපිට දැන් මේක මට රත් කරන්න දෙන්න විදියක් නැහැ නේද එතකොට. ඉතින් මම අතන water grease එකෙන් ඔයගලන්ට කියනවා hot water අරන් එන්න cold water අරන්. එතකොට temperature එක වෙනස් වෙනවනේ. We need to have different temperature. Is that clear? හරි. දැන් ඔයගලන්ට තේරෙනවද කරන්න ඕන විදිහ?
Sir, 10 centimeter දාන්නේ.
හා?
10 centimeter.
නෑ. HCl දාන්න ඕන amount එක තමයි දීලා තියෙන්නේ. මීට වැඩිය දාන්න නෑ. හරි. මේ තියෙන experiment දෙකට ඕන HCl දෙක තමයි මේ දීලා තියෙන්නේ. Is that clear? Right. දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ ගිහිල්ලා එක්කෙනා ගානේ පරිස්සමෙන් ගිහලා අත පුච්ච ගන්න නැතුව අත පිච්චෙන ඔය ඕකේ water එක හරිම hot, right?
What's the best reaction time here?
Right?
Reaction time.
ඔයගොල්ලෝ ගිහිල්ලා මේ measuring cylinder එක තියෙනව නේද? මේ measuring cylinder එකට 10 cm cube hot water අරන් එන්න. හරි? 10 cm cube hot water පරිස්සමෙන් අරන් එන්න. ඉමින් අරින්න අත පිච්චෙන්න පුළුවන්.
අනේ සර්
පාට ඒක බැලන්ස් කරන්න පුළුවන් අර බීකර් එකට වැඩිපුර આવස්. හරි. ඊට පස්සේ අපිට ගොඩක් වෙලා ඉන්න බෑ ඉක්මනට අරගෙන එන්න.
centimeters centimeters cube.
Cubic centimeter something.
අපි ඔයගොල්ලෝ හොඳට පේනවා අරමු මේ එළියට අරන් මේක පේන විදියට.
Shall I take this out?
රත් වෙන්න ඕනේ. පොඩ්ඩක්වත් රත් වෙන්නේ නැද්ද? ඔය මේ මෙතන
Only macaroni. So gas can gas na petrol diya.
ඕක දැන්ට බීකර් එක ඩිස්කාඩ් කරන්න මම ලෙසන් එකේ ඉතුරු ටික කරලා ඊට පස්සේ කර මේක රත් වෙන්න පොඩි වෙලාවක් යනවා ඒක. Right? We'll keep this experiment to do in the last 5 minutes. කරන්න පුළුවන්. Right. Shall we go to this one? Support කරන්න බොරුට ගියව කිව්වින් නැතුව. Right? So the third factor is changing surface area. Right? You have to do the same thing. Just write the conclusion by reading this. Find the average rates and do the conclusion.
You only being recorded. I'm not doing that.
yours
No, look at that. I'm not
yeah.
rushing.
no but yours
එක පොට බයික් කරාම
Experiment 2.
So experiment
Please, it's a printing mistake. Right? So take it as powder.
Powder.
Yeah. Please cut it and write it powder. Experiment 2, small chip. So powder, small chip. Read.
you can get recorded.
Sir, when a popping hole is there, will the gas go out? Or any gas comes in?
The gases are allowed to
Go out, but not come
go. Yes. But no, actually, even a gas can like. Some gases come inside, but we are heating. Or a gas is produced, so then the gases move basically out.
The main experiment say you should measure the temperature to water also, right?
Yes. Take a look at the movie. Take a look at this problem. Make a linear work and surface area का linear conclusion लगा दिया.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Oh, surface area is. देखो कौन तो यार rate calculate कर रहे हैं. Rate का calculate कर रहे हैं. वो rate calculate कराना तो. So you need to calculate the rate here. So volume divided by time. So here volume divided by time.
The method of saying.
හරි දැන් නම් මේ water හදලා තියෙන්නේ පටන් ගන්න මොට්ටෝට එක කරන්න. මේකේ observation මේකට පේන විදිහට කරන්න මේක tray එක තිබ්බම පේන්නේ නැහැ. tray එක පිටිපස්සට දාලා observation. Remember, right before HCl is added, measure the temperature. HCl add කරන්න කලින් temperature එක measure කරන්න mixture එකේ. හරි?
Take record. Record the temperature.
මම කියන්න මේ දෙන්නට බලන්න පුළුවන් ඉතින් මේක උඩින් කියන්නේ. ඔව් හරි මෙතන පොඩ මෙතන ගන්න.
අනේ මට අයින්න නම් එපා. අනේ මට අයින්න නම් එපා කිව්වා. අනේ මට අයින්න නම් එපා කිව්වා.
Sign is already measured. CL is already measured. Yes.
මේක මාරුඩුව වන්නවා.
I told you the small one is LCL. Page in there. This one, this is the one that measure කරන්න.
31.
What are you measuring? What are you measuring?
HCl එමද? තාම නෑනේ.
ඒක නිකන් අන්නිල කතාවක් නිකන් කියලා දෙයක් අහන් ඉන්නේ නැහැ. I told you so, right? You do it and then I can't be worried about your action. ඕකේ නෙමෙයි measure කරන්න ඕනේ. thiosulfate එකේ. Because I asked you to measure the temperature of the mixture. Before adding HCl, it is water දාන්න එපා. Water has to be added.
Just try to make it answer.
10 cm cubic of thiosulfate, water 10. So you brought, where is your thiosulfate? ඒකට තමයි water දාන්න. කියනකොට අහන් ඉන්නේ කියවනවා නිකන් සීයලා පප්පලා වගේ. කරන්න යනකොට තමයි තියෙන්නේ.
Just give me
You දෙන්නෙක්ට බලන්න බෑනේ. දෙන්නෙක්ට බලන්න බෑ. It has to be one person doing it.
Hey, when you press
33.
33 seconds. Front benches ला වෙලත් මේක කරනවා.
All this, don't do anything.
Get ready.
So the evaporate.
මේක process එක මෙහෙම පුරේ. process එක ඕගාගේ පැත්තට ගියා. process එක ඕගාගේ පැත්තට දාන්න.
Hey, give the diagram. Hey, here, just talking.
There has to be one person looking at it and deciding. I can't see anything. It depends on his. You all have to try. Now you have to repeat that. Again. Right. Now listen to me.
48.97.
I asked you to listen to me.
48.97.
Now discard
49 again.
solution into the beaker. Cloudy solution into the beaker.
Machine.
Okay, discard කරන්න. Right? මේ පොක පොඩ්ඩක් තව වතුර ටිකක් දාගෙන ඇවිල්ලා wash කරලා අර thiosulfate එක ඕකට දාන්න. වතුර ටිකක් දාලා wash කරගන්න ඕක. වැඩක් දුන්නම ඒක කරන්න තේරුම් ගන්න හරියට බලන්න කී දෙනෙක් වරද්ද ගන්නවද කියලා. ඇයි ඒ? Right?
අපි තමයි හොඳටම කළේ.
හරි දැන් මට අනිත් එක. දැන් ගන්න cold water. Do the same thing with cold water. හරියට. Huh? Can't help. At the cost of. That's the mistake of your. මම ඒකට කිව්වනේ ඒක කරන්න කියලා. විසි කරන්න කියලා කිව්වේ නෑනේ. ඒක තමයි කියන්නේ ඕගොල්ලෝ අහන් ඉන්නේ ජනිල ඉස්සලා ජීවිතේ ඉගෙන ගන්න ඉන්ස්ට්‍රක්ෂන් එක අහගන්න. ඊට පස්සේ මම සෙකන්ඩ් ටයිම් මම කිව්වනේ. කමන්න නෑ ඕම මම කරන්න කියලා. දිනා අර කොල්ලන්ට HCl 10 දෙන්නකො. manage කරන්න level එක quality right? Five.
සර් දැන් සර් මෙතන 105 ට්‍රාන්ස්පේරන්ට් තිබ්බසර්. එතකොට සර් අපේ ඇඟේ ස්ටමක් එකේ තියෙන පාට වෙනස් පාටක්. ට්‍රාන්ස්පේරන්ට් එකක් නෙමෙයි තියෙන්නේ.
නෑ අපේ ඇඟේ වෙන mixture එකක් තියෙනවා. enzymes අනම්මන ඔක්කොම තියෙනවා. cold water ගෙනවද? කීය temperature? කලින් කීයද?
30.
දැන් බලන්න. එකම එක්කෙනා temperature එක measure කරන්න. මේ time එක measure කරන්න. නෑ එයා නෙමෙයි. එයාගේ case එක නෙමෙයි. ඉස්සෙල්ලා බලපු එක්කෙනාම දැන් බලන්න ඕනේ.
latest color format sir.
බලන්න time එකත් එක්ක tally වෙනවද කියලා temperature එක අඩු වුණාම time එක වැඩි වෙනවද? I have not listened to the instructor. I asked you to watch the previous one and put that into that.
Sir, thank you. We had this, we should have used this. Suppose speaking of clicker.
Oh, photo wash करना. आरस करा.
No, no, mainly the office was.
It takes time. It's lying. I can't just give it that. You do it. Dude,